No doubt about it, the ocean is home to some of the weirdest and most unusual deep-sea creatures ever. We haven't even come across up to half of them, as a huge percentage of the ocean hasn't even been explored yet. However, researchers have been lucky to bump into some crazy creatures that are worth talking about. In today's video, we'll take you through some of those strange animals that will have you thinking a little bit more about what secrets lie in the ocean. Before we dive into this list, make sure to leave a like on this video. Also, if you would like to join this month's still, that doesn't change the fact that this is one of the creepiest fish you'll ever find in the deepest part of the ocean. From a single glance, you can tell that they have a really large and colorful mouth. However, that mouth is just ready to snap open and reveal how extremely aggressive these fish are as soon as another sarcastic fringehead comes too close. This is also their biggest form of defense, as the huge mouth shows how dominant and strong sarcastic fringeheads are towards other smaller fishes. The sarcastic fringehead is mostly found in the northeast Pacific Ocean close to Baja, California. Just as their mouths can snap open to feed on prey, it can also be a huge burden on numerous occasions. Interestingly, their body sizes are quite small. At number 9, scotoplanes. Another name for these deep-sea creatures is the sea pig. Surprisingly, they look nothing like the pigs we see on land with pink bodies and a short snout. Instead, they have a semi-transparent body with multiple legs, giving the impression of a see-through octopus. Scotoplanes are a jelly-like creature that are categorized as sea cucumbers. If you're thinking about that delicious green vegetable that you may have spent a huge chunk of your childhood running away from, then you're wrong. Scotoplanes are nothing like those, and we would never advise you to have any close to your mouth. But that's if you've ever had the chance to come across them anyway, as this creature lives in some of the darkest parts of the bottom of the ocean. At number 8, the red handfish. The Wobbegong red handfish is one of the strangest creatures you'll ever come across in the ocean. It's no wonder that they're on the critically endangered species list, especially with their weird outlook. Your best chance of finding the red handfish is if you went deep-sea diving in the southern Tasmania part of Australia. However, you'd have to take a trip down to the sea floor where you'll find these lovely red handfish walking around on the sea floor. So why is it called a red handfish? Well, one glance at what passes for its hands, and you won't need any more explanation. These are visibly red, while this creature grows as long as 15 centimeters. Its skin is also covered in denticles, which are tooth-like scales and quite sharp. Those hands are not just for aesthetics, but the red handfish uses them to move around on the ocean floor. Interestingly, they are quite similar to human hands, as these unique sets of fins are nothing like what you've seen before. At number 7, the Atlantic wolf fish. If you were to list out the deep-sea creatures that are your friends, the Atlantic wolffish wouldn't be on that list. These are strictly predatory species of fish with really sharp teeth. However, these canine-like teeth come in handy while feeding on invertebrates with spiny or hard bodies like marine snails and sea urchins. When provoked enough, they can also get very aggressive towards human beings, so you'd have to watch your step. To find the Atlantic wolffish, you'd have to journey to the Arctic and North Atlantic Oceans, where they can grow to as long as 5 feet. Since they prefer to live in waters that are colder than the usual warm surfaces, they live at the very bottom of the ocean, from as little as 328 feet to as deep as 1,640 feet. Since it also shares a close resemblance to an eel with a long body, the Atlantic wolffish is sometimes referred to as the wolf eel. At number 6, the red vampire squid. The first shocking detail about the red vampire squid is that it's not a squid or even an octopus either. And here comes the next shocker. The scientific name for this creature found deep in the sea is actually Vampiroteuthis infernalis, and when translated to English, it means vampire squid from hell. Now that gives you a lot to think about, especially regarding just how dangerous the red vampire squid can be. The good news is that it doesn't actually feed on blood like the vampire its name may lead you to believe. Instead, this creature, which is found at about 3,300 feet into the ocean, is much gentler than its name. Instead, the red vampire squid feeds on decaying organic material on the ocean floor, which exists as marine snow. So you would say that they are herbivores, feeding on the organic matter similar to dead leaves in the forest. At number 5, the faceless cusk eel. That's right, the faceless cusk eel. It actually has no face, hence the choice of name. When you're face to face with this creature, you'd feel like you're staring at two rear ends on a fish, which is pretty weird. For the Harry Potter fans, this reminds you of the Dementors, and this is pretty much the ocean version of the faceless monsters. The first time researchers ever came across the faceless cusk eel was in Australia in 1874. Then, less than a decade later, another group of Australian researchers finally came across them again when they went to about 13,000 feet below the ocean surface. So if this fish has no face, how does it even feed or see? The mouth is under the rest of the body of the faceless cusk eel, and it extends when it is time to catch some food. At number 4, the big fin squid. In November of 2021, scientists out on an expedition in the Gulf of Mexico came across an unexpected find. Right there in the deep sea, a big fin squid swam by gently. What was truly spectacular about this creature was its rare physical appearance and how difficult it is to come across animals like this in the ocean. The big fin squid looks very much like an alien out of the many sci-fi movies we've watched over the years. They have tentacles with weird bends and shiny yet huge fins. To cap it all off, the arms and tentacles have extensions that seem like long spaghetti. One surprising feature of this squid is that it's difficult to tell which are its arms and which ones are tentacles. And this is not how it should be for squids. So it's not surprising that there have been less than 30 confirmed sightings of the big fin squid ever since the first one was discovered in 1998. At number 3, the leafy sea dragon. In the depths of the waters of the Kangaroo Island of Australia lies the leafy sea dragon, which could pass ordinarily for your average seaweed. But a closer look will reveal that it's actually a fish, and that's honestly really hard to believe. They are known as leafy sea dragons because they are part of the same family as the seahorse and obviously look like a bunch of leaves. However, the leafy sea dragon is alive and grows to as long as 24 centimeters. This interesting creature moves around with its tiny fins, and when it's hungry, it feeds on small crustaceans and plankton. The great thing about this deep-sea creature is that its appearance serves as the perfect disguise for hiding from predators. It's as easy as blending in with the seaweed on the ocean floor. At number 2, the northern stargazer. We've bet you've seen very few fish that look this strange as the northern stargazer. The best place to find this weird creature is off the east coast of the United States, and you'd have to dive really deep into the ocean to do this. Still, there's a lot to say about the appearance of this creature that grows to be as long as 50 centimeters. Just at the top of its head are white spots, which contrast a lot with its overall blackish-brown body. It also has some stripes on the tail that get you thinking about animals like the tiger and the cheetah for a bit. However, the northern stargazer is nothing like them with its eyes and nostrils that sit firmly on top of its head. Instead of its mouth facing outwards like most fish, the northern stargazer has a mouth that's positioned upwards. It spends most of its days buried inside the sand on the ocean floor and then swallows any unlucky smaller fish in one big gulp anytime it wants a meal. And at number 1, the wobbegong. No, this is not a rug that should be in your sitting room. What you're looking at is actually the wobbegong, which belongs to the carpet shark family. That explains why it looks like an old piece of rug. But trust us when we say that you wouldn't want to have a shark that close to you. If you would like to go exploring to find one of these super sharks, then you'd have to check out the tropical waters of the Indian Ocean and the Western Pacific Ocean. In these waters, they spend most of their time resting on the sea floor, with almost no one having any idea that they're there due to their flat bodies. However, as they wait, they're also looking out for a tasty meal that they would get as soon as a lobster, crab, octopus, or smaller fish passes by. And with that, we end today's video. Which unusual deep-sea creature have you ever come across physically or online? Leave us your thoughts down in the comments below.